For some reason, I thought there was going to be stuff on the screen, like the advertisements they have over here. Okay, so pros and cons of these. This one right here, you can bring a shape in by clicking and dragging it. My tool's out of the way there. We're not going to use that purple triangle there. We're just going to use the standard pattern blocks. I'm adding in one we didn't use last year, which is this skinny rhombus here. And when I click on it, it throws it kind of in the screen. So usually I click and drag to get one in there. And let's see, does this one have a delete button somewhere? Yeah, on the bottom. So I think if I hit the trash can, once it's selected, it deletes it. So if I wanted to get rid of something, click it and then delete it. And this is the Math Learning Center app. When you click on one of these, they give you this rotate icon. So you can kind of rotate it in almost any direction you want. They have some preset ones. So if I wanted these two to stick together, I could rotate, say, this one until they aligned right, and then it kind of swiveled into a parallel position. And they don't, sometimes they click together like these two did, and sometimes they didn't for me. So if I wanted two of these to stick together, I would have to rotate this one, try and line those sides up, and hope I can get them to sit together. Oh, that worked pretty good that time. So, for example, kind of playing around with the triangle, if I wanted to figure out, what each angle was on this right here, I could try and collect them all around some central point here. And so one way to kind of figure out the angles here is to note that if I take 6 of them and stick them together, I make a full rotation around that central point right here. And if I know there's 360 degrees total, and I just split it into 6 pieces, then I can find each of those angles there. So that's kind of what I meant for this activity to be like, to play around with each of these and find the measure of the angles. Now, some of them, all the angles are the same, and some of them they're not. So you might have to list more than one angle here, and I'm hoping for some kind of explanation. I didn't expect you to print this sheet and write on it. I expected you to either do one of two things. Write down on a piece of paper with your own little sketches if necessary. If your sketching is not doing well, then just try to write a description. But you're going to be teachers soon. You're going to have to make sketches like this on the fly. So to try to practice drawing these as best you can. And then when you hit submit, I gave a couple options like I usually do. You can either take a picture of what you wrote on paper and then upload that here, and you can add more than one picture if you need to. Or you could do a text entry where you type up whatever you want to write. You can put a table in there, kind of like the table up here if you wanted to. And you can also insert pictures within this box right here. So if I'm in here and I want to add a picture, I would just go to Embed Image, and then switch over to Canvas here, and then My Files. And once I switch to Canvas My Files, then the Upload File button lights up on me, and I can go grab a file off my computer. So then I can go to my pictures, and whatever I have to drop in there. I don't think I have anything to put in there right now that's relevant to this. The picture I want to insert in there, and then I can drop it in. The alt text is optional. It throws the name of the image in there, and then you can adjust the size. Mine's 3000, so if it came from your phone, it's going to be huge. You definitely want to scale that down, maybe like 600 or smaller, and then you can drop it in there. And 600 was pretty big. And where's that picture of? It didn't even show up. Oh, there it is. That's an interesting geometry problem, but we're not going to get to it in this class, unfortunately. So you could put pictures in the text box if you want. So whatever is easier for you. If you want to write it on paper, take a picture, upload it, or if you want to type some stuff in, throw some pictures in, or just type some stuff, whatever works. Okay, so I'm going to grab this, and then let's do a couple together right now. Screenshot. Page. Okay, so I was trying to get that green triangle there, and what, let's see, my brief explanation would look something like this, maybe a picture. So I stuck those triangles in, and they made a hexagon, so I'm going to make my best hexagon. Ooh, not so good. Try again. Drawing on the computer is sometimes a challenge for me, as you guys know. Okay, and then I had 6 triangles in there, and going around is 360 degrees. So 360 degrees divided by 6 gives me what? 6 goes into 36 6 times. So that each of these angles must be 60. So I could do like 60 degrees each here. And then this is my explanation. You can, oh shit. Sorry, I moved my microphone. Okay, Yazelle just privately yelled at me. She couldn't hear me. It also could be my internet's kind of sketchy today. Can you hear me better now? I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about you guys watching this in the future. My sound sucked for a second. Sounds normal now. Okay, so sorry. All right, do you want me to repeat anything I did a minute ago? I think that's been up for a little while now. How are we doing on time? Oh, I got to quit soon. It's 4 o'clock. Okay, so, and again, you could try to sketch how you came up with that number, or you could try and write out a couple of sentences about how you got it. Sometimes they don't have the same angles, like this angle is clearly smaller than that angle up there, so let's take a look at that one next. And there's lots of ways to play around with it and figure it out. So you come up, for any one of these, there's gonna be like 3 or 4 different ways to explain how you figured out what each angle is. The one thing I liked and didn't like about the, which one was it? This one, the Math Learning Center one, is they had a protractor you could just use if you were stuck. And so I'd prefer you try to find some creative way to figure out the angles and a little bit of math than just measuring. So you can drag this and stick it where you want. And so here, if I kind of line up the vertex center here of this angle with, I can see these 2 of these make 120 degrees, right? And I can then drag this and try and line it up and says, oh, it looks like that one's about 60. Oh, excuse me. Allergy season. So as a last resort, you can kind of whip out the math playground, the Math Learning Center protractor, which lives down here, and it just turns on and off, and you can move it around the screen. Let's play around with this one. I thought this one was cute. The reason I like this one is dragging the shapes felt like I had them in my hand. Like, let's grab this one. When you grab them, they kind of wiggle around with you, right? And that's cute, isn't it? Kind of fun. And here it gets cuter. Check this out. When they bump up against each other, it's like I'm pushing them together with my finger. So I really like that when I was playing with them. I found that when I was trying to stick them together was way more fun than clicking on this and moving the angle around and then trying to position them next to each other. Okay, so that was a little tedious to me, but the protractor was nice. And this one was just a blast sticking them together. Okay, so let's play with this one for a minute. There's lots of ways to play. I'm going to kind of do similar to what I did before. And sometimes if you don't grab them in just the right spot, they misbehave. I'm going to attempt, oops, I didn't do that right. I'm trying to get a common center. I think I'm going to go for that down here. Oops, and I tweak them away from each other, and they do push each other around. So, come here, stop it. You go there, tidy you up a little. I did it wrong again. I want this pointy vertex to meet. So I'm trying to get all the same angle to meet in the middle and then see how many there are. And it looks like I'm going to get, what, 6 of them in there? Ooh, stuck. Okay. And if I did it right, they should all fit perfect, but clearly some of mine don't fit perfect. So let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going around. Oh, look at that. That looks like the triangle, but I can't stick these on top of each other. So that angle there matches this angle here. So those look congruent to me, and congruent means the same measure, in this case, 60 degrees. Okay, so let's play with that idea. So back to my notebook. So I believe that this angle right here, let's use red, is 60 degrees. So this one over here must be 60 degrees. And I think if I kind of draw a line through there, and we played with these before, right? That's 2 of these green triangles, which means there's a 60 there and a 60 there. So altogether, this other angle is 120, okay? So I can say I've got like 60 degrees. If I go around, then there's a 120 degree angle. Oops. And then there's another 60 degree angle, and then there's another 120 degree angle, okay? And then I could say, check out sketch to the left. Is that enough evidence? Where did I come up with that? Right there. And maybe it was, I put them in a circle. 6 smaller angles make 360 degrees, right? So just a little bit of explanation about how you kind of figured that out. Maybe I could also write 2 triangles fit in there. And so kind of just be creative, play around with them, have fun with these toys. If you got a child nearby, have them play with you, maybe. So we have all these different things to play with here. So you're going to do that for each of these. And that activity shows which ones I wanted. So these are all the 6 that the toy theater had. So we want to know the angles, each of the angles of these. And some of them have the same angles going around, right? A few of them, and then a few of them have different angles going around. So try to come up with the measure of each angle and a little explanation of why, and then upload that to me. Does anybody have any questions on this activity here? Okay, not at the moment. All right, so one more thing and then I'm gonna shut up and we'll part for the day. We'll have another session on Wednesday. Actually, no, I think I'm just gonna shut up there because I could accidentally keep talking for a long time about this stuff. All right, so you guys probably have your take-home exam to finish. So just a reminder about that. Do I have that other screen here still? Oh, nope, not there. Where did that sucker go? Home. Do your best to, and I don't feel like looking up the password. Oh, right, I forgot to enter the password. Oh, I'm student view. Let's leave student view, teacher view, question, preview. Okay, so you all got different but similar data. And you got the same kind of questions below here, different number of males and females and slightly different GPAs. So in a spreadsheet, make each of these calculations. The coefficient of variation was a new one. I link to its definition here. You can go read about it. And so do your best with that. So a little surprise on that one. And in the last few weeks, we went over these different kind of calculations. So again, do your best on those. And then the last part, 2 parts, are you're going to compare male, female, just on a few of the statistics. And then I want you to make some commentary about what these calculations here and here might tell us about the data that we could describe to someone else. Like maybe you're going to describe it to your mom, or maybe you work at a college and your boss wants to know about GPAs of students. And you need to explain to them what you see because they don't want to look at the data. They want a summary of the data. And just giving those numbers, they're going to be like, so what? So what? That Q1's that number and Q3 is that number. What does that mean to me? So draw a box plot and then describe what the box plot means. Like when you draw the box plot, the middle 50% of students are between Q1 and Q3. What are those two numbers? Like in my data, the middle 50% of this sample of students have GPAs between about 2.9 and 3.4. When I made my box plot earlier, it looked like they were between, not the box plot, but histogram. This middle group of students, which is more than 50%, were between 2.75 and 3.5. So the box plot tells me a slightly different story than the histogram tells me. And the histogram tells a story kind of based on what you chose as your delimiters down here. And you're free to change those. And again, reminder of how I did that. Just do that one over again. Maybe I'll do one for just the females this time. Highlight your data. So I sorted them by female first. So I'm just gonna look at the females this time. And then I'm gonna insert a chart. If you use Excel, it's a slightly similar set of steps. Google here guessed at breaking it up by 0.4 each time. And if I don't like that, I can customize the series. I had a video posted a couple weeks ago about how to do this. And nope, I wanna customize the histogram, I lied. There we go. And I'm going to make, before I tried 0.25 as the split. And you just kind of mess around. So this now is the same way I drew the one for the whole group. I jumped every 2.5. You can also show the dividers that they sometimes give you that option if there's not too much data. And each one of these squares is one of the female students. So here I can see there's 8 students there and 4 students there and 2 there and 2 there and so on. And again, looks like most of the students fall between 2.75 and 3. We have a pretty large group of students, or sorry, 3.5. We have a pretty large group of students above 3.5, and we don't have as many below 2.5. So I'm just looking for you to make comments like that about what you see in the charts that you made and how any of those things you see might relate to the calculations that you made in this region here. And then think about some of the things that I asked about in this paragraph here. So read through that carefully. Okay, so that's it for now. If you have further questions on how to use a spreadsheet to do any of this stuff, send me a note and I'll get back to you or point you to a video that could be helpful. And then once you get that done, try to catch up on anything you didn't do last week. And again, if you need help with that, let me know. I'll be glad to jump in and help you. And if we need to go over those next class, we will. This week is a little lighter than last week. So take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Bye-bye.